The UFC will return to Singapore with Southeast Asia's first ever pay-per-view card on Sunday, June 12th at the Singapore Indoor Stadium. The iconic Octagon will be the setting for not one, but two significant UFC world title matches. When June 12th comes around, over 12,000 Southeast Asian UFC fans will bear witness to history as the first ever UFC pay-per-view event will go down in Singapore for UFC 275. And joining me is the man that made all of that possible, President of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Dana White. Dana, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
With Singapore staging an event of UFC 275 stature, how will this boost the level of exposure and fandom for this ever-growing sport in the region?
Yeah, the more that we can do live events in different cities and countries around the world, it creates this explosion. Because I say it all the time. This thing's great on TV, but there's nothing like a live UFC event. Nobody walks out of one of these and says, yeah, I don't ever want to come to see one of these again. So getting out there and bringing the live event to all these different cities and countries is very important for our business.
Now, Dana, what are your thoughts on the fight fans in Asia, as well as the continuous growth of Asian talent all across the region?
Well, it's all about the growth of the talent. Once Weili Zhang, when she became the world champion, we started to explode in Asia on social media and people watching the events live. So the more talent and the more top 10, top 5, and world champions we can find from Asia, the bigger it's going to get.
I actually have a ton of Filipino friends that will be making their way to watch the fight, with more international visitors traveling into Singapore. Are you looking forward to the added atmosphere from a capacity 100% full arena?
Yeah, absolutely. Since the pandemic was over, we're on like 16 straight sellouts and broke all these arena records. And now it's our first event back into Asia. So yeah, I expect it to be big.
I know that you are such a big fan of food, and I love Singapore for its food as well. But what makes Singapore, and the Singapore Indoor Stadium in particular, the perfect location to host this monumental pay-per-view?
Well, I like destinations, and Singapore is an incredible destination. Great place to go. Beautiful, beautiful hotels, restaurants, safe, and the arena's gorgeous. I mean, just everything about Singapore is awesome.
All right, let's talk about the road to the UFC tournament that's taking place right now in Singapore. How did that event come together, and how does an event like this help the UFC gain even more talent?
Well, we're always looking for new ways to not only find and cultivate new talent, but introduce them to the fan base. So the top Asian MMA prospects are going to compete in a tournament-style competition to get a contract in the UFC. And it's basically like Dana White's Contender Series meets the Ultimate Fighter. We're going to have people from China, India, Japan, Korea, Indonesia, the Philippines, Thailand, all competing for a UFC contract.
Now let's head on into the card. You have two title fights, a rematch of arguably the best women's fight of all time, with Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Zhang Weili facing off yet again. What should fight fans be expecting when they go see UFC 275?
Yeah, well, you said it yourself. It's one of the greatest female fights of all time. 11-plus journalists chose it for Fight of the Year. An absolute war ended in a split decision. So it's probably a rematch that should have happened a long time ago. It's finally happened now, and it's obviously a big fight in that division and a fight that people want to see.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Dana. If there's one last message that you could give to all of the UFC fans in the region that will be watching a pay-per-view for the very first time, what would it be?
We're back in Asia, and we got a great card as usual, and the energy should be unbelievable in this place. Don't miss it.
Thank you so much, Dana, and we'll see you in Singapore.
Thanks for having me.
Visit the website below to get your tickets and don't miss your chance to witness this prestigious event live that is guaranteed to deliver thrilling and unpredictable action.
This SportsCenter segment is sponsored by Singapore Tourism Board.